Look around you. The world's filled with average people doing average things, living average lives, and calling it normal. But you're not built for average. You weren't born just to pay bills and die. You weren't created to blend in, to follow the herd, or to live a life of quiet desperation hoping someone will come save you. No, you're meant to dominate. The system, school, media, government. It's all wired to make you predictable. Sit down. Shut up. Follow the rules. Don't question anything. Take your little degree. Go get a job. Work 9 to 5, retire at 65 if you're lucky, and pray they give you a watch and a pat on the back. That's modern slavery disguised as structure. Here's the brutal truth: average is a trap. It's comfort dressed up as success. It tells you you're doing all right, when deep down you're starving for more. And the saddest part, most people choose that life. They choose mediocrity because it's easy, because it's safe, because no one judges them for it. But if you want freedom, if you want power, if you want to wake up every day knowing you're winning, then you have to reject average like a disease. You have to treat comfort like an enemy and discipline like oxygen. Every day is war, not with others, but with the weak version of yourself trying to drag you back down to average. Wake up early. Train your body, sharpen your mind, read more, work harder, build skills, stack cash, expand your circle. Stop looking for motivation and start developing character. Because the truth is, no one's coming to push you. You either push yourself or you stay at the bottom with the rest. You're not supposed to be average. You're supposed to be exceptional, and the only person who can make that happen is you. So the question is, are you going to keep living like the rest? Or are you going to rise like you were born to do? Average is designed to keep you controlled, not fulfilled. From the moment you're born, you're placed into a system that teaches you to aim for just enough. You're told to get good grades, not because education will unlock your full potential, but because it's the first step in conditioning you to become obedient, not powerful. Sit still, raise your hand, memorize what you're told, repeat it in an exam, then forget it. That's the routine. You're not being trained to think critically. You're being trained to follow instructions, to play it safe, and to be realistic. That's the programming. That's the trap. Society doesn't want you to be fulfilled because fulfillment makes you dangerous. Fulfillment means you're awake, aware, and unwilling to settle. It means you've stepped out of the line, and people who step out of line challenge the very structure that keeps everyone else in it. The world runs smoother when you're just another cog in the machine. You go to work, you pay your taxes, you follow the script, and you never ask why you feel hollow inside. Because if you did, you'd start tearing the whole thing apart. And they can't have that. Look around. Why do they glorify celebrities and influencers who promote distraction and consumption? Why do they push shallow entertainment and short-term pleasure? It's because if you're constantly distracted, if you're always scrolling, binge watching, or numbing yourself, you'll never look in the mirror and question if the life you're living is even yours. You'll never have time to realize that your dreams are dying slowly under the weight of routine and mediocrity. It's not an accident. It's strategy. Being average isn't natural. It's taught. It's marketed as the safe option. But let me ask you, since when did safety ever lead to greatness? Since when did settling bring any man or woman a life worth remembering? It didn't, because greatness lives in risk. It lives in effort, in hunger, in late nights and early mornings. And above all, it lives in refusal. The refusal to accept average as your identity. Understand this, control is subtle. It doesn't come with chains anymore. It comes with comfort, with good enough, with the illusion of security, a paycheck that keeps you dependent, entertainment that keeps you docile, and advice that keeps you small. The more comfortable you are with average, the easier it is for others to control your decisions, your time, your focus. You become a product of someone else's plan. And the worst part, you might not even realize it. But if you ever feel that pull in your gut, that quiet voice saying you're meant for more, listen to it. That's your real self trying to wake you up. because you are not here to blend in, to tick boxes, or to be forgotten. You're here to break patterns, to think independently, to lead, to build, to dominate. And that requires a complete rejection of average. You can't flirt with it. You have to despise it. If you want fulfillment, you'll have to walk away from what most people consider normal. You'll have to silence the noise, kill distractions, and rebuild yourself with intention. It won't be easy, but it will be worth it, because fulfillment isn't found in following the rules. It's found in rewriting them. And when you finally realize that average was just the bait, the trap to keep you comfortable while your potential dies, you'll never go back. You'll burn the script they handed you and write your own, one decision at a time. Controlled. Never again. Fulfilled. That's the only outcome worth fighting for. The system rewards conformity, not greatness. From the moment you step into a classroom as a child, you're being trained to fit in, not to stand out. You're handed a desk, told what to think, how to think it, and when to speak. You're graded not on your ideas, but on how well you regurgitate someone else's. You're not rewarded for being bold, for taking risks, for speaking your truth. No, you're praised for compliance, for doing what you're told when you're told exactly how they want it done. That's not education. That's indoctrination. And it doesn't stop at school. You leave the classroom and step into a job where the same rules apply. You're given a position, a script, a set of expectations. And if you stay within the lines, you might get a raise or a pat on the back. Try something different, challenge the system, do too much or too little, and suddenly you're a problem. Because the system isn't built to elevate greatness. It's built to manage the masses. It wants predictability, not innovation. It wants people who follow orders, not people who break the mold. That's why the extraordinary are so rare, not because people aren't capable, but because most are trained out of their greatness before they even realize they had it. They're told to be realistic, to not rock the boat, to play it safe. And when they do, the system pats them on the head and calls it success, a steady job, a 30-year mortgage, a few vacations a year, retirement at 65. That's the prize. That's what they offer in exchange for your fire, your ambition, your potential. It's insulting when you really think about it, and yet people defend it. They say it's just how life works. But who made those rules? Who decided that playing small was wisdom? That survival was the same as living? The truth is, those rules were designed by people who benefited from your obedience. They created a game where you're rewarded just enough to keep showing up, but never enough to break free. That's not a reward. It's a leash. Real greatness doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't apologize for being different. It doesn't care if it makes others uncomfortable. It moves fast, takes risks, fails often, and gets back up stronger every single time. But none of that fits neatly into a system designed for average. And so, greatness is punished, silenced, or ignored unless you refuse to be controlled. If you want to win, if you want to be truly powerful, you have to stop looking for approval. Stop chasing validation from a system that never wanted you to rise in the first place. You'll have to think independently, act aggressively, and be willing to walk alone while others wait for permission. You'll have to risk being misunderstood, disliked, even ridiculed, because the system is threatened by people who don't need it. People who create their own rules, their own value, their own path. You weren't put here to blend in and follow instructions. You were put here to lead, to dominate, to build something the system can't contain. That means unlearning what you've been taught, killing the need for acceptance, and choosing to be bold when others hesitate. It means refusing to be another cog in their machine. So don't expect to be rewarded for being different. Expect to be tested. Expect to be challenged. But also expect that on the other side of that resistance lies a life the average will never touch. The system might reward conformity, but life rewards courage. And courage is how greatness begins. Comfort is the slowest form of failure. Most people don't fail in one dramatic explosion. They fail slowly, quietly, and with a smile on their face. because comfort made it feel like everything was fine. Comfort is seductive. It tells you to relax, to take it easy, to stop pushing so hard. It whispers lies in your ear. You've done enough. You deserve to rest. It's okay to take a break. And while you're listening, your potential is dying. Not suddenly, gradually, one skipped workout, one late morning, one more hour on the phone, one less step forward. Until one day, you look up and realize you're nowhere near where you thought you'd be. That's how comfort destroys you, not with force, but with softness. People mistake comfort for success. They get a decent job, a decent home, a decent life, and they think they've made it. But decent is just a fancy word for settling. Comfort traps you in a cycle where nothing is painful enough to wake you up, but nothing is exciting enough to set your soul on fire either. You exist in the middle, numb, stagnant, safe, but uninspired. And here's the truth no one wants to hear. If your life doesn't challenge you, it will never change you. Growth requires friction. It demands discomfort. Whether it's in your body, your mind, your career, or your relationships, real improvement always starts in the zone where things feel uncomfortable. You don't grow by repeating easy things. You grow by doing what hurts, what's hard, what you'd rather avoid. And the moment you start chasing comfort over challenge, you start giving up your future for the illusion of peace. That's the tragedy of modern life. Everything is built for ease. Fast food, short videos, quick fixes, digital dopamine. The world is structured to give you everything instantly, except for the one thing that actually matters, purpose. And purpose doesn't come easy. It's earned through struggle, through discipline, through sacrifice. You think anyone who built a legacy did it while they were comfortable? No. They embraced pain, chased difficulty, and built themselves in the fire. Because they knew that comfort is the enemy of greatness. There's a reason why so many people who once had dreams now just have routines. They gave in to the slow poison of ease. They thought they had time. They thought they could start tomorrow. They thought the little compromises didn't matter. But every time you choose what's easy over what's right, you drift further away from who you could have become. If you want to escape the slow death of comfort, you have to become brutally honest with yourself. Ask, am I challenging myself daily? Am I uncomfortable? Am I growing? And if the answer is no, then don't wait for pain to come find you. Go out and create it on your terms. Train when you're tired. Study when you're bored. Work when no one is watching. Push your limits until they become your new normal. This isn't about being reckless. It's about being awake, alive, in control. Because when you understand that comfort is the slowest form of failure, you stop chasing ease and start chasing excellence. And that shift, that mindset, is what separates those who live with regret from those who leave a legacy. Success isn't reserved for the chosen. It's claimed by the obsessed. There's this dangerous myth floating around that success is for the lucky ones, the naturally talented, or those who happen to be in the right place at the right time. That's complete nonsense. The truth is brutally simple. Success doesn't care about your background, your excuses, your past, or your feelings. It only answers to one thing: obsession. The kind of obsession that keeps you up at night. The kind that makes you wake up before the sun, not because you have to, but because you need to. You breathe it, you dream it, you bleed for it. That's what it takes, not wishful thinking, not half-hearted effort, not balance, obsession. The world isn't short on talent. It's short on people who are willing to outwork everybody else. It's short on people who are so locked in on their vision that distractions, opinions, setbacks, and pain can't pull them off their path. You think the top 1% just got there by accident. No. They were obsessed. They didn't clock in and out. They didn't need motivation every day. They were possessed by a mission bigger than themselves. They sacrificed things you're still holding on to. Comfort, popularity, short-term pleasure. Because they understood one thing you still haven't accepted. Being average is easy, and that's exactly why it's crowded. You say you want success, but are you living like it? Are your actions matching your words? Because success isn't interested in your potential, your dreams, or your goals. It responds only to results, and those results come from repetition, intensity, and a deep, unshakable commitment to mastery. If you're not obsessed, you're already falling behind someone who is. Someone out there is training while you're relaxing. They're learning while you're scrolling. They're building while you're hesitating. And they're winning. Because they've made success their obsession, not just a hobby. You don't stumble into greatness. You storm your way into it. And every single day that you're not all in, someone else is pulling ahead of you. This isn't about being motivated. Motivation fades. Obsession doesn't. Obsession is what makes you study after midnight, train through injury, grind through boredom, and push through failure. It's what makes you say no when everyone else is saying yes. It's what keeps you alive when life tries to bury you. So stop waiting for perfect conditions. Stop thinking the right time is coming. The only time is now. The only edge you need is the one you're willing to create. Become obsessed. Let them call you crazy. Let them laugh. Let them talk. Because while they're wasting breath, you're building your empire. This world doesn't reward average. It rewards those who demand more, relentlessly. Those who are so focused they make others uncomfortable. And if that's not you yet, then it's time to level up your mindset, your discipline, and your fire. Because success is never given. It's claimed by those too obsessed to quit. Your environment is either building you or breaking you. There is no neutral ground. Look around you. Every voice, every influence, every piece of content you consume is either sharpening your edge or dulling it. The people in your life, the conversations you allow, the things you tolerate, all of it plays a part in shaping the person you are and the future you're heading toward. If you're surrounded by average thinkers, you'll become one. If your circle is filled with complainers, doubters, and excuse makers, you'll start to sound like them without even noticing. That's how powerful your environment is. It programs you silently, slowly, until one day you realize you've settled into a life you never actually chose. Most people don't fail because they're incapable. They fail because they're trapped in toxic environments that normalize mediocrity, environments that reward laziness, discourage ambition, and attack anything that stands out. The moment you try to elevate, they label you arrogant. The moment you start winning, they say you've changed. And they're right. You have changed. You've stopped conforming. You've stopped pretending that being average is enough. And that makes them uncomfortable because your growth exposes their stagnation. You can't afford to be loyal to the wrong environment. Your future is too important to be compromised by weak associations. If you're the smartest, strongest, or most driven person in your group, that's not a badge of honor. It's a warning sign. You've stopped growing. You've stopped being challenged. And whether you realize it or not, you're being pulled down, not pushed up. Your standards are set by your surroundings. So if you want to raise your standards, you need to raise your surroundings. You need to audit your circle. Cut off dead weight. Walk away from comfort. Distance yourself from those who make excuses and find those who make progress. It doesn't matter if they're friends, family, or people you've known your whole life. If they're not helping you evolve, they're holding you back. And no dream survives in a poisonous environment. You need people who hold you accountable, who push you when you're tired, who expect greatness from you, even when you don't see it in yourself. You need conversations that elevate, not drain. Rooms that make you feel small in the best way possible. Places where your vision isn't mocked. It's match it. Your environment is either fueling your fire or suffocating it, and you have to choose. You weren't built to be average. You weren't designed to blend in. But if you spend your time around people who lack drive, who settle, who envy ambition, eventually you'll become a reflection of them. Energy is contagious. So surround yourself with those who burn with purpose, those who demand more from life, those who wake up hungry every single day. That's how you rise. That's how you stay sharp. That's how you ensure your potential doesn't rot in a room too small for for your vision. Success isn't just about what you do, it's also about what you tolerate. So start treating your environment like your life depends on it. Because it does. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you want to become. It's not a suggestion, it's a requirement. Everyone wants the reward, but almost no one is willing to endure the process. And that's where most people fall, at the feet of their own inconsistency. They do things when they feel like it and wonder why nothing changes. They start strong, get distracted, and quit before the pressure builds. But here's the truth: feelings are irrelevant. Discipline doesn't ask how you feel. Discipline demands that you show up regardless. Whether you're tired, unmotivated, bored, or uninspired, none of it matters. Winners don't care about moods, they care about outcomes. Success doesn't bow to emotion. It answers only to consistency. You want to transform your life. Then you need to build routines that stand even when everything else is falling apart. You don't negotiate with your goals. You don't skip steps because you're having a bad day. That's what separates the committed from the curious. The committed push through the fog. They do the work in silence, with no applause, no validation, and no instant gratification. They don't chase dopamine, they chase results. And they understand that the discipline they build in the dark becomes the strength that shines in the light. You'll never rise to your potential if you keep giving in to your impulses. Scrolling your phone instead of working. Sleeping in instead of training. Delaying decisions out of fear. These small moments, they add up. Discipline isn't built through big actions. It's built through small, repeated ones. You win by dominating the basics, by mastering your mornings, by controlling your diet, your habits, your time. And that control bleeds into everything. You become sharper, hungrier, unstoppable. Because when you control your mind, you control your life. But if you're constantly at war with yourself, you'll lose before the world even gets a chance to challenge you. Most people don't lack talent. They lack consistency. They show up once and expect results. But discipline isn't an event. It's a lifestyle. You don't flip it on when things are convenient. You live it, breathe it every day. It becomes who you are. And when that happens, success stops being this distant dream and starts becoming your default setting. You don't rise to the occasion. You rise to the level of your preparation. Discipline builds that level. It's not sexy. It's not exciting. But it's what separates the top 1% from everyone else still trying. You want freedom, then earn it through discipline. You want power, then claim it through daily sacrifice. You want greatness, then outwork everyone who's only interested in being good. Because average people wait for motivation. High performers are loyal to discipline. And in the end, your habits will betray your words. Your consistency will expose your intentions. And your level of discipline will decide the size of your future. The truth is harsh, but it's fair. Discipline is the price. And if you're not willing to pay it, you don't deserve the life you're dreaming of.